Okay, so I came across this video. It's called "What Really Happens When You Ignore a Woman with Proof." I thought it was kind of funny. I only watched the first few seconds of it, so I decided I'm just gonna react to it for content. Okay, so for small context, this video is made by Mr. Austin Dunham. Mr. Dunham, he's your classic red pillar. Like if you breathe around a girl, she's not gonna respect you type of red pill. And always thought his videos were very funny in a sarcastic, ironic type of way. So that's why I decided to pick this one. But that's enough talk. Let's just get straight into this.
This is what happens when you really ignore a woman. Let me ask you something. Yeah, I just was wondering, why do you never like any of my
I see he's actually ignoring them. Because look, if you look at the dates, it says she said this at March 2nd at 8 afternoon. This man waited a whole day in the morning, 9 a.m. to respond to her. Oh my god! So he's taking it seriously. He's taking it seriously.
pictures? Doesn't matter the reason, I'm just curious. Yes, that was a real DM from a real IG model with over 100,000 followers getting thousands of likes on her pictures, and yet out of all the thirsty simp men who like her pictures, she noticed one person, me, who wasn't. Now
How does he know that?
I'm not saying you're gonna have 9s and 10s IG models kind of chasing after your validation. However, if you learn to ignore women the right way, I promise you, the way women treat you will be totally different. Now, I've seen these YouTube videos talking about the psychology of ignoring a woman, why you should ignore women. And I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions behind the term ignore. So let's talk about what ignore actually means, because it's not just you ignoring a woman and her total existence. You only ignore certain types of women, but first you have to understand what it means. Ignore does not mean not pursuing a woman who is showing interest. Whenever you have a woman who is clearly showing interest within you, obviously guys, do not ignore her. I feel like that's where these YouTube videos get wrong, and a lot of guys are getting confused on what ignore means.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That is it's still kind of confusing. So you don't ignore the ones that are pursuing you, but you ignore the ones that don't really care about you. So like, are y'all just ignoring each other? That I'm very confused, to be honest.
Whenever you have a woman who is trying to make herself available to you, clearly showing interest, you ignoring her is actually just gonna lower attraction overall. So don't do that. Number two, it does not mean ignoring a woman who doesn't even like you. Guys, just because you ignore a woman who already doesn't like you, that isn't gonna make her magically like you. The truth is, she just doesn't like you. So whether or not you show her attention or ignore her, it literally doesn't matter. I feel like a lot of guys think ignoring is some sort of strategy in order to gain a woman's interest who never showed them any interest in the first place. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And lastly, ignore does not mean
Yeah, cause I was gonna assume that they would just like literally when nothing would happen. If they don't care, they don't care. So
focusing on yourself. So many guys use this as a cope. Oh, I'm ignoring women, I'm focusing on myself. But the truth is, you just have no women who are genuinely attracted or interested in you. So you lie to yourself and say that I'm ignoring women. You're not ignoring women because there are no women to ignore. You are lying to yourself. So stop using that as a cope. Now, what does ignoring actually mean? It means that you retract your attention and validation to women who don't deserve it. Yet. I say yet because over time they could earn your attention and validation. However, for the most part, usually they don't. And this is especially true with women you have never met yet. And super true with women you will never meet. Think of the IG model who you're consistently liking their pictures time and time again, when me and you both know you will never meet them a day in your life. Most of you guys are not new to female nature, but if you are, validation and attention to women is their sole energy source. It gives them a really big sense of fulfillment, even towards guys they're not necessarily that into. That's why we see them posting on Instagram, showing off their ass, trying to bait as much attention from the simps as much as possible. And then the really smart ones will go a step further and actually retract money and financial resources alongside with the attention from men who they never see any sort of potential or attraction towards.
it's so crazy that people actually make a whole video on how to do stuff like this. Because I don't personally believe there is any type of game or finesse to like the opposite gender. Because they're just human, just like you. You'll literally just you'll be fine just by being yourself. To be honest.
There's a saying that the guy who she's actually smashing isn't even in her comments, isn't even in her likes, in some cases doesn't even follow her. I know for myself, for example, a lot of girls I've been with the past few years, I don't follow them on Instagram. I don't like their pictures, but I see a ton of guys who do. I just think to myself like, wow, if only they knew how important their validation and attention was, and how if they started valuing it more, they could overall gain more power with women. But most guys in this modern society actually don't care.
Even if that is true, how would you following her or not following her make a difference if you get the girl or not? To be honest, even though he did say you get these girls, I'm pretty sure he would still got them, even if he didn't follow them. That part. It don't make no sense. It like what one little follow button is gonna change.
You take a look at TikTok and Instagram videos and pictures, go in the comments, you'll see 10 guys saying the same exact thing. You're so gorgeous, you're so beautiful. I swear at this point in time, it's like watching literal robots. So if you know that validation and attention is super important to women, what happens when you actually retract it? Well, the truth is, as long as they find you, in a sense, somewhat attractive and or potentially attracted to you, then they start to chase it. That's why in a lot of cases, you should allow a woman to earn your validation, because they tend to work harder for it and they start to chase it. Whenever you give it out easily and freely, it gives them overall nothing to chase. Going back to my example, that's why she actually noticed that I wasn't liking her pictures out of all the people who do like her pictures, who she clearly doesn't care about, right? She cares about mine. And then from there, she started slowly chasing it. Now, women will start to chase it in different ways. It isn't always like a message calling you out on why you're not validating her, or it could be even contacting you more. It could be giving you validation in hopes of getting some in return. There are a lot of different strategies and ways women will do it subconsciously. And in very strategic women, they'll actually even bait you for more of your validation. So they won't try to do these strategies to kind of get you to do it back. They'll more so kind of bait you into eventually doing it. Maybe showing some ass pictures on Instagram, maybe even purposely posting things on their story, knowing that it'll probably either trigger you or force you to say something. And that's,
to be honest, I'm not a woman, but I don't think they post that for that reason, to be honest. They're posting it just because they want to see people. They want to build a following. It's social media. They want to interact with people. They're doing what social media is made for. They're not posting it for you. Like, what is this man talking about?
Where if you're a strong man, you got to stay true to your boundaries and still not give in. Now, let's also remember, what do women like? Women like a man that doesn't need them. So whenever you
that don't make sense. Why would you want someone that doesn't want you? That's
kind of retract your validation and attention to a woman who hasn't deserved it, you are signaling to her that you are in abundance and overall you don't need her. You're showing non-neededness. Overall, that is an attractive quality in every single man, versus the opposite. Whenever you're giving it out a lot and freely, it signals the complete opposite, right? Neediness, it signals that she's potentially better than you, and overall that is repulsive. And whenever you put a woman in a position to earn your attention and validation, they overall tend to respect it more and respect you more because they had to work for it. Listen guys, and I want you to remember this quote: whatever that is given out easily is never respected. I'll say it again. Whatever is given out easily is never respected.
You know, that's probably one of the only things I probably agree to that, because I can see if he goes in a method, like if you give it out, it probably won't be appreciated enough, to be honest. So I can see where you kind of go with that. Well, it'll probably get you used a little bit.
So with that being said, you need to make her earn it and work for it throughout time. That way she respects you more. So we understand the psychology of ignoring, why it's attractive, and why a lot of women tend to chase men who are attracted, especially if they're attracted to them. But how do you actually ignore? How do you actually put this into practice? Well, there are 3 pillars.
It's crazy that it took him like literally half the video to now finally get into the part where you clicked on it for.
Pillars in which we're going to talk about: social media, text, and in person. For social media, my favorite strategy above all is to mute their stories and don't like or comment on their pics. Basically, do not engage anything with them, guys. You can easily do this just by going to the stories, hiding it, muting it, and then from there, not engaging with it. And she'll start to notice too, you guys probably do this also with the girl you like potentially, is that you check the story views, like who's watching. And you even just watching their story is a sense of validation, right? So even with girls who I'm dating long-term or short-term, doesn't matter, I always mute their stories because I don't want to be that guy who views their stories like immediately 10, 15, 5 minutes later after they posted it, and they'd be like, oh yeah, he's still watching me. Like, it gives them a sense of validation that I would rather they not have.
Damn, he don't want them to be happy? God.
So you just simply hide their stories. You don't gotta go as far as I do in regards to not commenting or even liking, but to the minimum, I do feel you should at least hide their stories. You know what I noticed about guys is that they always get left on red. However, most men have trouble leaving women on red, but I can tell you firsthand that there is so much power leaving a woman on red who isn't complying by your standards or rules, who isn't showing a lot of investment. Honestly, the slightest inconvenience for me, I leave them on red. And there's so much power in it because women are not used to being left on red. It's honestly one of the most powerful things you can do to show abundance and non-neediness, and how you don't have to sleep with them, right? There's a lot of power in regards to not having to sleep with a woman. And whenever you just leave her on red for just one-word answers, or maybe let's say you want to go out on a date at night, this actually happened to me.
Would you be free on Tuesday night? We can do it Wednesday evening. I don't really like going out in the night. Well, he got upset with that. Like, that's literally a compromise. Like, does he have a problem with it? She literally just said, hey, I can't do it Tuesday night, right? Or well, I can't do it at night, but we can go do it in the day, right? But I guess he just left her on red because, bitch, I don't like the fucking night, I guess.
Before, that's why I'm giving this example, by the way. But let's say you want to go out on a night date, like at 8 p.m. or whatever, and she says, oh, I don't go out at night, I prefer evenings. Inconvenience, left on red.
This man, he's just not willing to compromise. He's just a fucking monster, isn't he? Like, look at his face. Oh my God.
You know what happens whenever you leave a woman on red? Not all the time, but in some cases, they'll actually trap back and double message you and maybe either comply or just kind of check in with you and see what's going on after a few weeks, especially if they're actually really highly attracted towards you. Now, if you're not a high value guy, or if you're not in abundance, then this is going to be a very hard strategy to do. But I promise you, just like how they leave you on red, start leaving these women on red. And then eventually, as more men start to leave them on red, they'll probably start to understand, I should probably change my behavior, and or I should probably comply based on the standards of this man who I'm trying to date.
Or she just won't give a flying shit. What's most likely to happen?
Trying to get to know. Because the reason why women act this way on a majority basis is because they never had a guy put them in their place. So whenever a lot of men start putting them in their place, naturally they will be forced to comply or either be single. Now, lastly, in person, what you want to do is not stare, not act super thirsty. For example, let's say you're in the gym, you see a girl with a
I mean, I would say that the same thing, but not for the reason why he's about to say it, because you wouldn't want to do that to avoid being kind of, creepy or weird, But he's probably going to say something entirely different, to be honest, because just by watching the video, you can already tell.
Fatty. Do not stare at her. Do not look in the mirror, just making weird eye contact. You come off as a creep.
Why does he look like a different person here? Is that him?
Honestly, in a lot of cases, I'll pass by attractive women all the time. I keep my eyes straight forward. I might do a little glance. I might peek my eyes to the side for
I was finna say, because how do you know if they're attractive if you ain't looking?
Split second. But for the most part, I'm looking straight forward, right? I see you all the time in the gym. It's not a big deal to me. I'm used to being around attractive women. I'm not gonna gawk at you. If I want to speak to you, that's a whole different strategy, right? And in regards to conversation, basically the best way is to not over-validate off bat. Right, that's usually taught in regards to good code approaching standards, is to not come off with, oh, you're beautiful, or I just thought you were so pretty, stuff like that you tend to want to avoid. So basically, don't over validate with your speech, but definitely don't do it with your eyes. Now, part of learning how to ignore,
to be honest, I want to see an example of this. That, like, I really do want to see this in person. I wish they will show what they're talking about, because I don't believe this stuff works for real, to be honest.
For women, you must also learn female nature. That's why in this video, I tell you the top 10 things every guy should know about female nature. Go ahead and watch that next.
Oh, wow. That's how he ended it off? Well, I guess that's it. I just wanted to do a quick one before I go into work. But I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. You guys got me to 200 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. But thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.